All right. Well, thank you, Caitlin. Hello, everyone. My name is Senay Daniel. Just for my physical description, I use he, him pronouns. I am an African-American male with wearing an olive quarter zip jacket in front of a virtual background of the Northern Lights. And my presentation today is called all the colors in the spectrum, aka Autism in Color, and on the presentation documents that you got for this session. And I also my colleague Krainz Edison also is worked with me on this presentation. She will appear later on. All right, so just an executive summary for the presentation, summary about us, our journey to today, the discussion of the intersection of autism and race, which is the topic of our presentation today, discussion of the unique challenges and needs of people of color who are on the autism spectrum, and our proposal to remedy this problem and how you can support us as we continue our work. And this quote here, credit to Karen for selecting it for the presentation. For autistic individuals to succeed in this world, they need to find their strengths in the people that will help them get to their hopes and dreams. All right, so just a little bit about us. For myself, I am a 2020 fellow at Venture for America, a nonprofit founded by Andrew Yang roughly 10 years ago that sends recent graduates to work at startups and found businesses in underserved cities across the country. My hometown of Columbus is served by this nonprofit. I graduated from the Fisher College of Business in 2018 at Ohio State University with a concentration in management, information systems. I work in technology. I'm an entrepreneur by profession, and as well as an autistic self-advocate. As for my colleague and mentor, Karen Krainz Edison, she is a program manager at ACE at the Nisonger Center. Len Fellow, graduated with a master's in social work from the Ohio State University College of Social Work. And these are our graduation photos from the Ohio State University part of our journey today. I'm on the left wearing a red tie with scarlet and gray honors cords, holding a bouquet of roses in my right hand and a diploma in my left hand. And Karen, with her cohort, is on the far left of the photo. White female, black cap, black tassel, yellow and blue honors cords as well. Our problem statement for our presentation today is that children and young adults of color with autism are underserved and overlooked by their healthcare providers, educators, and employers for a variety of reasons that we will describe in this presentation going forward. They are also erased by a media ecosystem and public discourse that neglects to include autistic people of color in discussion of autism and surrounding autism awareness efforts across the country. These are some primary examples of recent media portrayals of people with autism. From left to right, we have Dr. Sheldon Cooper from The Big Bang Theory, Sam from Atypical, Dr. Sean Murphy from The Good Doctor, and Raymond Babbitt from Rain Man. Now, for those who are viewing this presentation right now, you can see some, obvious visible commonalities. These are all white men, all assumed to be heterosexual, all assumed, and they all have a skill set and interest in either science, mathematics, or medicine. And it's not inclusive of the broader range of people with autism in general. And just as a note that I have, that I include in every presentation, that every time that I go through this exercise, Dr. Sheldon Cooper did not, like the creators of the Big Bang Theory, deny that he has autism. However, many autistic young adults identify with Sheldon, and he is widely believed by the public to be an undiagnosed autistic individual. And we see the contrast between how people of color are, of course, portrayed in our society. These the common stereotypes and caricatures of, say, African-American men are often assumed to be violent, involved in gang activity, hot-tempered, lacking intelligence and work ethic. You have the African-American individual is in the middle second from in the middle column of this diagram. On the left column, we have two photos. On the top photo, we have a Latino, a Hispanic man who is depicted as working as a landscaper in a field with a green shirt, and that is the stereotype of Hispanic individuals in this country, assumed to be in the labor class, assumed to be hardworking, yet obviously assumed to be unfit for knowledge work, assumed oftentimes to be of illegal immigration status, and so on. And on the bottom of the left column, we have an East Asian American male who is in front of a blackboard with many mathematical equations on the blackboard, and is holding a book. He is, that is indicative of the stereotype of Asian Americans being viewed as industrious, knowledgeable, yet in the case of males, effeminate, not fit for leadership, and in the case of women, hypersexualized, hyper feminized, as opposed to the emasculated presence of the East Asian man in our society. And on the far right, we have, just for those of you watching this presentation at home, this is not an Indian American man, despite the costume and the hair and the skin color present. This is actually Ashton Kutcher in makeup and brown face with a colored face, a wig, a costume. And this is from a 2012 Pop Chips ad, widely condemned for its racism, which goes to show that these caricatures, these stereotypes, are primarily in the imagination of white American audiences, as opposed to the perceptions, as opposed to the actuality of how all of these demographics, how everybody presents in American real life. And and by extension, that leads to underdiagnosis of people of color in America of autism. There, we see on the left the prevalence ratio between white people and Black people with autism diagnosis, as monitored from the years of 2002 to 2014. For every 1.3 white individuals diagnosed with autism in 2002, there was 1.0 individuals diagnosed in in that same year, that ratio has fluctuated and decreased to 1.1 to 1.0, which is an improvement, but still over the scale of millions of people has an impact. And on the right, the ratio of white individuals to Hispanic individuals diagnosed with autism in 2002, for every 1.6 white individuals diagnosed with autism, there was 1.0 Hispanic individuals diagnosed. And that ratio tops out at 1.7 in 2006, and again improves slightly to 1.2 to 1 in 2014. But again, over the course of time, as well as over a sample of millions of people, this has an impact that leads to many people of color being less likely to be diagnosed, as well as of those who are diagnosed, most are diagnosed later in life. And as well as the extended challenges faced by people of color in our society, we have socioeconomic disadvantages and challenges arising from cultural differences that, of course, extend to people of color with autism being facing challenges in school and in life beyond that. You have elevated suspension rates of Black pre-kindergarten students, and of course, this counts doubly for those with disabilities, as well as law enforcement referrals. If you see on the left chart, the suspension ratio, you have rates of Black preschool children, Black preschool boys, Black preschool girls being well over double the suspension rate at pre-kindergarten at a very young age in comparison to the general population. And on the right, there is a banded chart of the law enforcement referral rates of students of various ethnicities. The blue band of African-American students is almost tripled at the size of their population in relation to their referrals to law enforcement, indicating a high likelihood of experiencing arrest in school. And compounding that, cultural differences among ethnicities can lead to challenges stemming between misunderstandings between families of color and predominantly white medical staff. Below is a picture of a mother and her daughter interfacing with a doctor. And following that, we see additional biases when looking for employment, healthcare, and education in adulthood, with when young autistic adults of color are going out into the world, hurtling towards adulthood. The systemic factors that they face that disadvantage them for both their autism as well as their ethnicity compound into a strong force that creates challenges. On the left, we have a chart that shows that callbacks for this identical resumes with an African-American individual with a stereotypically African-American or Black name receiving 2.5 times fewer callbacks for interviews than an African-American with the same resume that had a quote unquote whitened name. And you see a similar result for Asian individuals, where they are roughly twice as likely to get an interview callback if they have a whitened name and a quote unquote whitened resume with all references to ethnicity removed versus a resume with a stereotypically Asian name. And we see stats on the right that say 1 in 59 people will be diagnosed with autism. At age 22, we see a support cliff that negatively impacts people with autism. 50,000 Americans with autism will enter adulthood over the next decade. And more than half of young adults on the spectrum have not met with a friend on the next year. The unemployment rate for those with autism that have college degrees is 88%, the highest of any disability group. So these compounding factors create unique challenges for autistic individuals of color. The inspiration for the work that I'm doing today is coming from an association called the Color of Autism that was founded by Camille Proctor, whose son is autistic, and it is an association meant to support African American parents of children with autism. And our proposal is loosely inspired by our concept. Our concept is a support group for young adults aged 18 through 29 with autism who identify as people of color, and we will provide meetings and have a resource center that will provide opportunities for members to network with each other, connect with each other, discuss issues unique to them, realize that they are, not the only one like them. Many spaces for young adults with autism are disproportionately white, and we are seeking to create a resource center that counterbalances that. And just an announcement here for those who have been following us, we're continuing programming under the name Autism in Color. And what we need in terms of support asks, we are trying to hire a facilitator, we welcome volunteers from all walks of life, looking to pay a facility fee for a regular meeting spot for the group, various supplies and admin support, and possible legal assistance with creating and solidifying our 501c3, and our financial support needs total between $9,500 to $11,300. And just I want to close with, the time for change, the time for this conversation has never been better. We are in the middle of a national reckoning, a worldwide reckoning, where we are challenging systems that used to be taken for granted and are seeking to really ask ourselves how we can create a fairer workplace, a fairer set of institutions for all people. And for those watching at home, on the top left is a photo from a Stop Asian Hate protest in 2021. On the top right is a photo of a Black Lives Matter protest in 2020. On the bottom left is a photo of a Kellogg strike in this fall of 2021, and on the bottom right is a headline revealing that over 4.3 million workers quit their jobs in August. So many people are seeking to challenge their workplaces, their governments, their schools, their institutions into creating a society, creating a system that works for everybody. And in neurodiversity and inclusion for people of color with autism is certainly part of that mission. How you can help: you can donate to our GoFundMe, which is linked in the slide above. Seek to contribute as an ally, volunteer, refer a potential member, all sorts of things, and really question, how your workplace, how your school, your institution can become a place that serves people of color with autism. And this is our contact information above. I will let that sit for a few seconds. I personally am equally responsive on phone, email, and through LinkedIn. And as for my colleague Karen, her phone number is below, as well as her email and her webpage. And I want to also announce new services provided by our group. In exchange for a donation, we offer individual consultations as well as speaking engagements. To inquire about booking this presentation at your institution, or looking into a consultation, please contact either one of us. And with that, we thank you for listening to the presentation. And that is all. And this quote to Dr. Stephen Shore: if you've met one person with autism, you have met one person with autism.
We do have a few chat messages in regards to your presentation, Senay.
Yes.
Specifically about how there are diversity, equity, and inclusion programs within corporations, but not a clear path for individuals with autism to connect with these programs. Other challenges include the stigma attached to disclosing one's autism and the belief that opportunities will be limited based on their condition. Do you have any thoughts there?
Yeah, I everybody is going to take a different approach when it comes to disclosing their own diagnosis. And that is a very personal decision. And I respect rationale for all kinds of choices as that people on the spectrum may make. However, I think that it is important for those who do wish to disclose. Like I personally, I would like the whole world to know that I have autism myself. However, I understand that in reality that not everybody is going to be receptive and supportive of that. So my challenge to everyone on this call, everyone here really is to really ask yourself, how can I become the kind of person, how can my school, workplace, etc., become the kind of place that can support an individual with autism who does decide to disclose?
Thank you so much for that comment. We do now also have Karen here on our panel. If Karen, you would like to add anything to the presentation.
No, you read my comment to the presentation, so thank you. So I figured it was easier just to put it in the chat. So again, I think, the toughest thing right now during COVID to do is, getting people together to provide that support that folks need. So again, Senay, I think, you shared, really well, that need for that support group, right? We know that peers support peers best, and it's, we want to make sure we've got a professional there because we know that there's underlying traumas that may be brought up. We know that there may be some issues that have to be processed. So we really want to make sure that, within the Autism in Color, we're providing that, that sound, therapeutic background. But really, this is a group for peers to support peers, and then learn, again, how to navigate what their autism or what their neurodiversity is to them, and develop their self-advocacy skills.